honestly know where to start after that, like. I'm almost going to feel bad for ripping him to shreds now.
Okay, Nathan's got to believe it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great pleasure to welcome you all here on this very special occasion. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alan, and I was somehow deemed the best candidate to be Christopher's best man. I think Chris must have had a few rejections before landing on me, but I'm here anyway, so I'm going to make the most of it. I mulled over how to approach this best man speech, giving the amazing musical display Mr. Forman produced when he was my best man. However, I quickly ruled out anything involving singing after I've realised they've got cameras here. Because we all know what happened the last time I got singing in camera. Put on my blue suede shoes. If any of you don't get that, just ask Jamie Gertie. He loves showing people the video. Now, with singing ruled out, I have decided to do something a bit different. As Chris knows, I get great enjoyment out of doing like poems and funny stories that rhyme. So, such a special day, I've made one up for Chris to kind of cover all the bases. So, I hope you get as much enjoyment hearing it as I did writing it. Well, what a day it's been. Everything's going grand. I'm sure you will all agree it's a stunning day they have planned. Everyone is looking great. You have all scrubbed up really well. Will you look this good by the end of the night? It's far too early to tell. It's always a special occasion when two families become one. Mr. and Mrs. Newton winning the jackpot with their new son. And Ian and Carol as well. I'm sure you're filled with pride seeing such a beautiful young woman sitting by your son's side. Charlotte, you are simply stunning. I'm sure everyone will agree. It's clear to see why Chris has a smile of delight and glee. The royal wedding may be on the news and even all over the press, but not here at St Andrews. You take all the headlines in your dress. To our left you have our maids, friends that Charlotte does cherish, surprising her with a henny stripper that Charlotte did seem to relish. It really needs to be said, and I can assure you I'm not being sarcastic, but you all must agree, the bridesmaids look absolutely fantastic. With the niceties out of the way, now on to the man of the hour. But I need to tread carefully. I know he's a delicate flower. As you know now, Chris here was my best man. He talked about me in a positive light. Well, as good as anyone can. However, he was a bit harsh, doing a cover of my favourite song, all the lyrics cleverly changed to a hit by the Kings of Leon. You will all know the song in question, The Popular Sex is on Fire, but that's not what he sang. Apparently my sex is so dire. And he didn't stop there. The insults would continue to flow, all the guests lapping it up, enjoying the Chrissy show. But that joke at my expense has gone on for far too long. Forever I am haunted by his accusations in his song. Waiting 2 years to get him back has been like having a constant itch. So, Christopher Forman, payback's a way to be a bitch. The story of how Chris and Charlotte met is actually a rather creepy affair. At first she was worried he was a stalker, as he just stood and stared. Charlotte was out with her mates watching The Unknowns at the Red House. Little did she know that this lurker was a future spouse. Chris had been eyeing her up all night, and in his defence she seemed to approve. As Charlotte already told me, well, it was her that made the first move. They spent the whole night chatting, and Charlotte agreed to go on a date. Chris couldn't believe his luck. Finally, a girl that thought he was straight. Now that was 8 years ago, and it's brilliant how far you have came. Charlotte making the ultimate commitment and taking her soulmate's last name. A true love story. And please don't think my tone is mocking. It's just very rare to see a man marrying the girl he was stalking. The story of how I met Chris is certainly not bizarre. It was in one of our favourite places, the legendary Tavern Bar. I noticed this tall gentleman sitting drinking pints with the boys. Quiet and reserved at first, hardly making a noise. My reasons for speaking to him was selfish, and I came up with a cracking plan. It was my intention to make him my new wingman. The reason for Chris being recruited was my old wingman was a drunken disgrace. He kept going home with stinkers, so I had no option but to have Bomber replaced. But there certainly is no denying that Chris is a good-looking loon. Just being in his presence, the woman would surely flock and swoon. But it couldn't have been fun for Chris, as it was something he didn't foresee. Even with his tall, dark looks, the woman would just want a piece of me. So I'd go home with a beauty, things going just as planned. And what for my mate Chrissy? Well, he went home with his hand. Some may argue his talent is endless, and I'm sure you could all name a few, but I've found something he's crap at, and I think it's all time that you knew. He may be a cracking singer and play every instrument known to man, but when he came to playing football, he deserved a lifetime ban. I went along to watch him once. I think it was for Cruden Bay. "Come watch me," he said eagerly. "I'll show you how to play." So to show a bit of support, I went along for a spy. He must be half decent. His confidence I couldn't deny. He definitely looked the part. A picture of football perfection. Or now that I think about it, more like a member of One Direction. His hair was all styled, not one strand out of place. Added with a Hollywood smile beaming across his face. You would have thought as a central defender, he would have been the perfect height. But when it came to winning a header, he was absolutely shite. 5 minutes into the match, a long ball came flying high. Right towards his backline, Chrissy's ball was his battle cry. He leapt into the air, like a salmon jumping out of the water. The poor striker didn't stand a chance, like a lamb on the way to the slaughter. But the striker leapt up with him. He must have only been 4'3", maybe even smaller. He didn't even come up to his knee. To my amazement, Chris didn't have a hope. His timing was dreadful. It was like he was anchored down with rope. I asked him after the game how he managed to lose the battle in the air. His reply will stay with me forever. "I just did my hair." I couldn't do a speech without mentioning possibly the biggest love of his life. And it feels wrong to say this, but it's not even his new wife. I presume you know what I mean. You didn't even have to think. He spends half his life there. It's a work take you and links. But it was also the setting for heartache for Gulf's golden boy Chris. His first club championship final, where his dad ripped the piss. Chris with all his power, booming his drives just off of the green, but Ian done it when it mattered. He was a putting machine. Because Ian knew his son's game, and that Chris was prone to a gas, and Chris couldn't live up to it, his old man's superior class. Chris came out with excuses, like it was nice to see his dad win. I can assure we can all agree, that excuse wore pretty thin. So off went Chris, trying not to wallow, when inside he was furious, numb, even hollow. How did this happen, he'd moan? How do I deal with the pain? Spent the whole night praying to have the talent of Philip McLean. But he got there in the end, and he finally became club champ. Everyone was delighted, happy scenes in the Forman camp. So the next day I asked him how he avoided another defeat. "Ach, it's nae bother," he said. "It's miles easier when you just cheat." The accusations. Now everyone thinks he's sensible, but he can go off the rails. And I'm delighted to say, I'd personally seen one of his fails. It was one New Year's Day, quite a few years ago. The Waverley was away to open, so we thought it'd be clever to go. For many, not a big deal, just another night in the drink. But not for Mr. Forman. He got in more trouble than you would think. 9 a.m. was approaching, and we had been out all night. I couldn't help but think, this is going to cause a fight. Chris's phone started ringing. Maybe Charlotte's checking he was alive. "F it, I'm nae answering," he said, then gave me a jovial high five. Several more phone calls ensued, but every one fell on deaf ears. Chris wasn't caring, gleefully sinking his beers. A few more hours passed, and Chris was ignoring all his calls. I couldn't help but think, fun did he grow some balls? But then he got a bit guilty and decided to answer the phone. I could almost hear the screaming, and it wasn't a very nice tone. Up until that moment, Chris had been in top form all night, but the longer the call went on, he turned a new shade of white. Without even finishing his drink, he made a dash for the door. Chris, a shell of a man who was acting so hard before. And I chased him outside to the taxi and asked him what the call was about. "I'll have to explain later," he shouted, "but my mum's away to chuck him out." I phoned him the next day, and it's hard to convey how he sounded, but what I do know is he's the first 24-year-old to get grounded. Chris has a habit of getting naked. That he may try to deny, which I thought was quite surprising, because at first I thought he was shy. Never could a weekend pass without his clothes being shed, sometimes not a stitch left on him, apart from the hair on his head. Now, not to lower the tone, but let's just say he's rather small. I was expecting him to be much bigger, well, 'cause he's so fucking tall. Chris came out with excuses. He even claimed it was chilly. Desperate attempts to hide the fact he's just got a very small willy. But they have been together a while, so must assume Charlotte's seen him undressed. Charlotte, you deserve an Oscar if you manage to act impressed. But what if she hasn't? We can't be too sure. We can all see her sitting up here so innocent and pure. And now he's all paranoid after an encounter where there may be a stripper. With good reason too, when she sees behind his zipper. But I sat him down and told him, right, size truly doesn't matter. She's probably accepted that her earth's not a way to shatter. So Charlotte, when you're finished with the dancing, and you take your nervous groom to bed for some wedding night romancing, please be patient. I'm sure he'll be a trier. However, if his speech is anything to go by, he's definitely going to be a crier. But at the end of the day, Chris, if you don't hear any wows, she can't back out now. She's already taken her vows. You may be glad to know my speech is coming to an end, and it is time to say thank you to a truly special friend. It is only fair that I end on something nice. He has fed me after all, and he keeps harping on about the price. Thanks for being a good sport and enduring my poem in all its glory. I took some tips from Stephen Powell to never let the truth get in the way of a good story. But Chris is a very popular guy, I must say if truth be told. Will do anything for anyone, and he has a heart of gold. I'm humbled to be his best man, and it's an honour I will never forget. And now he's heard my speech, I hope it's one he doesn't regret. I'm under no illusions, friends in abundance he could have picked, but I'm glad I got the privilege, as from the start our friendship clicked. A very talented man, and certainly could be called a catch. It's so wonderful to see he has married his perfect match. I want to wish him and Charlotte all the happiness as man and wife. It's a truly special thing to find the love of your life. However, now as a married man, we won't be seeing you much for a beer. You'll always know where I'm at if you ever need to lend an ear. So finally a toast, so raised glasses from you all. Here's to the new Formans. Now it's time to have a ball.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was very entertaining indeed. I think now we are going to have a little bit of a comfort break, so we're going to reset the room for dancing. So we're going to send you all out into the foyer area. If you want to keep